DJ and PK has completely crossed me up. What are you doing, PK? Posting a question.
Radio.
Did you see those TV viewership numbers for BYU football this season?
Yeah, they were awesome.
Since when do you care about TV ratings? You have lectured us on those for 20 years.
I didn't say, did you care? I said, did you see? And people care about them. It's because I don't do the show for myself. Even though I am an absolute narcissistic dope, I do not do the show for myself.
Nice.
We talk about what our folks, our listenerships, what they are interested in. That's why we go heavy local, right? Jazz, Utes, Cougars, Aggies, Mammoth, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And here, well, I saw these numbers and I thought, I've got some dear friends who are Cougar fans. I have no problem publicly admitting that. I know you don't really want to go out on a limb and admit that, but I will. And I know that's going to make them warm and fuzzy because those numbers, you want to talk about numbers that were astounding
Thank you,
on a
Gordon.
full-time basis?
Thank you, Gordon.
That's what these TV numbers show for BYU. My goodness.
Just a shade.
For years, they were uncool. Now they're as cool as can be.
Just a shade under 9 million people for the bowl win. Just a shade under 9 million people for the Big 12 title game, and 37.5 million overall. Almost half of the viewers were in those two games, but really good numbers.
Second best behind those bought and sold Oregon Ducks
in the Western United States. Yes,
I said in the West.
Yeah.
That's well, I mean, that's where the people would
move over. USC and Washington.
USC,
please.
What was this? 1995 here? I mean, come on.
They were third, 30 million.
Well, that's because they play Notre Dame. Anybody who plays Notre Dame is going to have big numbers. Jeez. Go put Notre Dame on your schedule and see what they do. That's why everybody kills to get Notre Dame on their schedule. I mean, come on. Look at everybody. They more than, if my math is correct, they more than doubled up Utah.
That's true. Utah ended up at about 14.8 million, which was seventh behind the.
They tripled my dear Sun Devils, who I hold close to my heart.
Sorry.
Tripled them.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
And the Mormon church is just growing by leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Cougar fans are being created every single day.
So that 38 million number is only going to go up.
Yes, their fan base literally is fruitful and does multiply. Am I right? Yes. Can you imagine where it's going to be in the year 2525?
If the Big 12 is still alive.
It doesn't matter. BYU will be alive.
If the ACC can survive.
I mean, the Big 12 without BYU, it might as well be intramurals, buddy.
Brother, not buddy, brother.
Are you sure?
Oh, go play intramurals, brother.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Division I football. It's the Big 12.
That will never, ever grow old. Will stand the test of time.
I'm telling you, your Mark, I've tried to help you out. You're a fellow Jersey guy like I am. And I think that every time in the title game, as the teams get ready to run out, or as the kickoff is reaching fever pitch, and just as long as Cody Campbell signs off about it, because we don't know who Texas Tech is going to play next December, have them agree to it, and then right before the kickoff, you blast that over the speakers in the Cowboy Stadium. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. The place goes nuts. They should use that. That's their calling card. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. That ought to be their logo and slogan. How do they not use that over and over and over again?
Now his voice is getting high and cracking.
Even better, the sense of urgency.
It's the Big 12.
No, it's Division I football. It's the Big 12. No passion there.
Then if you
Play
win
that
at
again,
home,
Yak.
like at Yankee Stadium when
It's
the
Division I football. It's the Big 12.
when the Yankees win, they play Sinatra, right? On the way out as everyone's leaving the ballpark. And you know it's a W because Sinatra's singing. So when Texas Tech wins, then you could play at the end as the losing team leaves. Go play intramurals, brother. Taunt them on the way to the locker room.
No, wait. You're trying to get a second team in, and you're going to mock the losing team. That's not really good strategy.
I don't think they care about getting the second team in. Everybody for themselves. The rest of the league cares.
Not, but I think Yormark does.
We're us. Yeah, Yormark does. Yormark will call and knock it off. I'll find you this for storming, and I'll find you this for the post-game clip.
Nothing is going to happen without his approval at that game, and so that's when you got a ready-made slogan, and they're putting Sorsby's name and likeness up on the screens in Times Square. Have that, man. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. When you put it at that level, there's nothing between them and the other two conferences in the ACC. They are right there. They're playing the exact same thing that you are. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. And then you could have for like 2 days on Times Square and the marquees, big bold letters. What is it? And then in parentheses, answer coming soon. And then everybody will look at it. What's it going to be? And then 2 days later, you have, what is it in smaller letters? And then you blare, it's Division I football. It's the Big 12. Oh, my goodness gracious. And right there, leading the charge with viewership is the Brigham Young Cougars with 37.56 million Mormons who watch them play football. That's a lot of Mormons, David.
There's this whole thing about conference expansion. You don't want two teams in one state because, you've already got that. You've already got the viewers in that area. But if these two schools are generating that much in the way of viewers, would somebody take them both?
Who are we speaking of?
Well, probably the Big Ten and BYU Utah because we're sitting here. But I mean, it could apply to any market where two teams were drawing really well. As the Big Ten has expanded, well, there's only one team to take in Nebraska, right? But Rutgers, Maryland, they're not taking two from a market the way they have Michigan and Michigan State, in the same state, or Indiana and Purdue are in the same state. They're not doing that anymore. They're just adding one at a time. But if you look at two teams, it's like, would you take another team in the West that doesn't draw as well? I mean, the teams that draw the best in the West are the four teams the Big Ten's already taken, and then it's BYU, Colorado, and Utah. And Colorado, I don't think it's Colorado. I think it's Dion, and he's not going to coach forever. Maybe one more year, maybe two, maybe three. We'll see how it plays out. But I don't see realigning over a coach who's been there 3 years.
Well, I wouldn't see realigning over any singular entity.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. And even with Dion, if he coaches for 10 years and they have 8 losing seasons, then that novelty is long since worn off. All his catchy phrases, his spiffy interviews that he does.
You got to win.
Yeah, it just becomes background noise. And then actually he will be pitied, not I don't want to say worshipped, but admired and watched.
Exalted.
He's got to win. You just have to win. These people aren't watching BYU to lose, right? Obviously, they're watching them to win. I think you have to look at everything, and that's why the Big 12 is ecstatic to have BYU in there. There's just no question about it. I mean, because they bring folks to the table. Their fan base, and you can say, oh yeah, well, it's the church affiliation, BFD. It doesn't matter what the affiliation is. It's like I said with Vegas. If they got out of towners going to their baseball games when the team comes here in a couple of years, the money counts just the same. It doesn't matter. And they draw. Everybody, any beat writer can attest to that because he or she has seen it with their own eyes. Right? It doesn't matter where you go. I tell the story of the Cougars are playing in Auburn Hills, the Palace where they had the Malice, right? Well, that's a little bit a way out of Detroit. They've since moved in, but back then they were going to play Michigan State out there, right? And that's down the freeway. Having been to Detroit many times, my brother-in-law lived right down the street from there, and so it's in December, and I get there on a Friday night, and it's cold, it's icy, and all that. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, just get me to the hotel. And I pull in the parking lot, and I usually pull up where you can walk in to closer by the entrance to register, right, and then go park the car. And it was up a little incline, and as I pull up, right ahead of me, I see. I don't remember the state. It's a BYU personalized license plates. He's in the suburbs of Detroit, 2 weeks before Christmas on a Friday night. They literally are everywhere, right? I told the story. Val Hill told me the story of who was it? UCLA having increased attendance. The AD at SC saying, well, it's BYU, man. Yeah. Schedule BYU, and you'll get an extra 15,000 folks will come to the game. Okay. He does it, right? And I was at that game, and sure enough, they do. So you can't compare them to Notre Dame. No one can compare to Notre Dame that way, but they do bring in folks. And so I get your point, but do they bring in baggage? Well, it seems like outside of the Sunday play, a lot of that stuff has been mitigated and gone away to the level it used to be, right? Ronald Feldberg, we talked about this with him. He's been on our air many times. He says emphatically the reason why that they didn't go to these other conferences, Big 12 or Pac-12 before, there's no question it was good old-fashioned religious discrimination. I believe that's a literal quote, right? He said that. Well, there was a while there when the Big 12 that was an issue here most recently when they were, not this time because they obviously expanded, but before that, there was a little bit pushback because of the supposed standards against gays. That was a big deal. Well, this time around, did that even surface? Didn't even seem like that was a big deal. And I don't know, has BYU changed their stance on that? I don't know. I don't get into that. It's none of my business. But they were readily accepted. Now, the Big 12 was in a more desperate situation, and they needed BYU more, and that's obviously why they got in. They wanted them even before that, but they didn't expand. So, yeah, I think your point is taken. I would love to see. Wherever they go, BYU and Utah go together. I don't think that getting to the Big Ten solves all your problems, because you just mentioned some schools and some programs, particularly in football, who suck year after year after year.
Well, the whole money disparity thing we're talking about in the Big 12 and the endless amounts of oil money that Texas Tech has, you're just going to have a different problem. Now, first off, maybe Texas Tech goes with you, so you still have that problem. I mean, who knows how this will play out, if it plays out at all. But if it were to happen, maybe they went with you and you still have that problem. But then Ohio State and Michigan and Oregon would be a problem. Apparently, Indiana is now a problem. Now, Penn State's not short on money. I mean, it blew up this year, but before that, they were rolling.
Why would Texas Tech need to go to the Big 12? Or the Big 10? Or the SEC for that matter? What can they get there that they're not getting now?
More big games, I guess. Is it good for the ego if those are viewed as the two biggest leagues, and more money? Not like they're short of money, but everybody wants more. And I mean, to go to the SEC to be in the same league with Texas and Texas A&M, I think that'd fire them up.
But why? Sure, but why do they need it? What can't they get out of the Big 12? They can get whatever they want out of the Big 12.
They're in the playoff, so it's up to them to be better and win it.
Yeah. So go get what they think is a better quarterback, and hopefully for their sakes, develop a better quarterback.
I mean, the reason would be that, the ground rules are going to change, and even though they're getting what they want now, maybe they don't think they'll be able to get what they want later. And so,
well, I don't think the Big 12 is going to be absolutely denied. You talk about lawsuits if the group of 5 is denied, or group of 6 in basketball, whatever it might be. Well, if they're not going to be denied, the Big 12 is not going to be denied. It's not going to happen. there. So rather than worry about what you don't have, focus on what you can do to make the best of what you do have. Because I think that look at the U of U, their football program, and they just won 11-2. And that says a lot. And they're going to have professionals. They're going to have 2 offensive tackles drafted in the first round, if all by all the projections are true, which they probably are, right? And Morgan mentioned that yesterday, that Spencer Fano is probably going to be the first O lineman taken. Well, he doesn't need to go play in the SEC or the Big Ten to achieve that. You got that right here in our backyard. And that's what they need to sell. That's what he was pushing about their culture. What are you looking for as a young man, young woman, when you make your athletic decision, right? Because maybe they can't compete bottom dollar, but everything else. Why can't the U of U provide you as a women's basketball player or as a men's basketball player, what have you? Football obviously is king. They can get you whatever it is that you're looking for, right? And there's a lot to sell. And you can go to the U of U and you won't get lost, man. If you're a star there, you will be recognized. We talk about it all the time, right? The amount of time we talk about college football versus the NFL, what is it, 50-1, would you say? Something like that?
Probably pretty lopsided. When we come back, Tim Lacombe is talking BYU and the Utah Jazz. That's next. Stay with us.